There is a ton of news going on surrounding the fourth stimulus check. Over 150 economists and 21 senators now support recurring monthly stimulus payments for millions of Americans. So yes, everybody, this means that we could expect to receive a fourth stimulus check in the near future. More and more Democrats and Republicans are pushing for the approval of a fourth stimulus check. I think it's really great that Democrats and Republicans are finally working together for the good of the American people. And I would love to see Congress approve this fourth stimulus check very, very soon.
The Senate is now in session working on the $1 trillion infrastructure bill.
Was going to give us credit for half our pay-fors, they did. There's another half that a reasonable person would look at and say, yeah, that's a pay-for, but they won't give us credit because of their rules.
So the petition for monthly stimulus checks of $2,000 is nearing its goal of 3 million signatures as cases continue to surge across the country. Those who have pushed for recurring direct aid include 21 senators and 150 economists. But the Biden administration has signaled that it's not a priority, focusing instead on advancing its infrastructure plan. 21 Democratic senators urged President Biden to deliver recurring direct payments in a letter. The lawmakers argued that the last federal stimulus check of $1,400 wouldn't be enough to support low-income families through the ongoing crisis. And led by Senate Finance Chair Ron Wyden, the coalition of senators include Dick Durbin of Illinois, Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, and Ed Markey. So yes, everybody, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are pushing for more stimulus relief payments. What do you think about this, everybody? Do you believe that Bernie Sanders is doing his job in Congress and trying to help out the American people like you and I?
So what we have got to do as a nation is, first of all, to understand Social Security is not going broke. Social Security has $2.8 trillion in the trust fund, can pay out every benefit owed for the next 19 years. But that's not good enough. What we need to do is expand Social Security benefits.
The group also included a broad range of Democrats from moderates like Debbie Stabenow and Bennett to progressives like Booker and Warren. Now, all of these Democratic lawmakers wrote that these stimulus payments help keep families out of poverty, but they also act as an economic stimulus by increasing spending and supporting jobs. Now is the time for boldness. The lawmakers also didn't specify how large and frequent the payment should be. A separate Democratic effort led by Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, with more than 50 House members, also are pushing for more recurring stimulus payments for the duration of the crisis. In a tweet, everybody, Representative Omar specified that the administration should approve $2,000 monthly payments until the crisis is over.
Advance the bipartisan infrastructure bill and bring debate on the substitute amendment to an end. I repeat that Democrats are ready and willing to vote on additional amendments to the bill before moving to final passage. Once again, that will require the cooperation of our Republican colleagues.
And more than 150 economists have supported the idea of recurring direct stimulus aid. So yes, everybody, it is a fact that more stimulus relief is definitely needed. More stimulus checks must be sent out to help out the American people. And if you believe that Congress has to do a better job in helping out the American people, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Now, the lawmakers in Congress also stated that regular lasting, direct stimulus payments will boost consumer spending, driving the economic recovery, and shortening the recession. Despite the pressure, it is becoming increasingly clear that further federal stimulus checks could be sent out. The Biden administration has directed its attention to advancing the two infrastructure bills, neither of which contain any direct payments. And the stimulus package is going to provide $2.25 trillion, $39 billion to modernize public transit. And that's less than the $49 billion contained in the earlier bipartisan deal. Folks, this infrastructure deal, that might just include a fourth stimulus check, would invest $17 billion in port infrastructure and $25 billion in airports to address repair and maintenance backlogs. In addition, it would also invest $73 billion to rebuild the electric grid. And let's not forget, everybody, included in this infrastructure package might be some things known as social infrastructure, which could include things like an increase to your Social Security benefits, as well as a fourth stimulus payment. But we're still waiting on Congress to see what they say about this. Now, the deal leaves out Biden's proposal to spend $400 billion to bolster caregiving for aging and disabled Americans, and that is the second largest measure in the American Jobs Plan. His proposal would have expanded access to long-term care services under Medicaid, which will eliminate the waitlist for hundreds of thousands of people. It would have provided more opportunity for people to receive care at home through community-based services or from family members. So yes, everybody, I'm hoping that Congress does step up to the plate and sends out a fourth stimulus check.
Well, you talk to the Democrats, and they are actually eager to jump to this reckless tax and spending spree. It's going to start next week. We've already spent $6 trillion in relief, and now they're talking about $3.5 to $5 trillion more of big government spending. It is time for the American people to stand up and speak out and say, we've had enough, it is time to stop, because the American people realize every one of them is in one way or another going to pay for this. They're suffering right now. Their paychecks are getting eaten away by inflation. $25 more a week every time you fill up with gas, $25 more a week when you go to the grocery store. So it's $50 less a week that you have to spend for other things just to buy the same amount of groceries and the same amount of gas that you were at the time that Joe Biden became president. We're talking about thousands of dollars a year eaten away from Americans' paychecks. And it's not just the inflation component. The amount of money they're talking about spending, the only way they can do that is significantly raising taxes. It's not just going to be on a couple of rich people or a couple of big companies. The amount of spending is so dramatic that everybody will be paying in one way or another. People are going to get hit in their savings, in their investments, in their retirement accounts. That is what's going to happen to each and every one of the folks in America who see what the Democrats are trying to do here. And the Democrats have been very upfront about the fact they are ready to supersize the IRS to go after all of the taxpayers in America to make sure they get every last dime from them. It's time for the American people to stand up, speak out, and say enough is enough.
As the leader pointed out, we've got a bipartisan bill in front of us that's been negotiated for some time by a number of members on both sides of the aisle. But for most of our members, the first time they've seen it was Sunday night, really Monday morning. And it's more than 2,700 pages long, which somebody's pointed out is twice the size of the Bible. And in typical highway bill debates that I've been associated with through the years, it takes about 3 weeks to move a highway reauthorization across the floor. And in those cases, you've had a lot of committee input. It's gone through regular order. You've had at least 3 committees that have vetted it, and a lot of the members of those committees have had opportunities to offer amendments.